Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Now we've got our news director in-house. Mr. Mike
That's right.
Elgin is here.
Took a break from directing news.
You there.
Yeah.
Story, go there. He's also the host of TNT Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1700 UTC, your daily dose of tech news. We gave you a tablet.
Yes.
You like the iPad. In fact, I remember when you've been on Twit, in the past anyway, that you've used a tablet, an iPad with a keyboard. Do you still do that?
I do, and I love the iPad. I'm a huge fan. I've owned probably 4 or 5 of them now, I think, and it's the best tablet there is.
So this is Android.
Yeah, this is Windows. This is full
Oh, it does
Windows.
look a little like Windows. Is it RT or is it Windows Pro?
It's the full Windows, including legacy support for legacy apps. And this is a surprising device. Now, let's start with the basics. It's $199.99. This is a $200 tablet
$200
for full Windows. If you look at the back, this looks really, really nice.
I paid more than that for the Windows 8 disc.
Yes, exactly.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but this is so nice that this could almost be a Xiaomi. That's how nice it is. But it's a really nice tablet. It was launched a couple of months ago. It weighs less than a pound. It does have, it is a Windows device. So my first out-of-the-box experience was I had to spend a half an hour updating 33 updates.
Well, but
so
that's Windows.
It's not exactly an iPad. It runs a quad-core Intel Atom Z3740 processor that has integrative graphics. So that's one of the corners they cut in order to make it so inexpensive. So the graphics are not super great, but they're good enough. And it has only 1 gig of RAM. So that's on the low side for a full Windows device. Although you really don't see it using it too much for the most part. In fact, most of the little glitches here and there that do pop up are in the graphics side, not in the core processing, and so, or in the RAM or anything like that. It seems to be they're getting away with it, I guess is what I'm saying. This is a 1280 by 800 LED backlit screen. Gets about 8 to 10 hours of battery life, depending on whether you're watching video or doing anything like that. That's, I can get a little bit more than 10, so they're sort of sandbagging it there. Comes in 32 or 64 gigabytes of onboard storage. Windows gobbles up a huge amount of that. So you're not going to get anywhere. If you get the 32 gig one, you're not going to get anywhere near that. And 2.0 megapixel camera, front-facing 8.0 megapixel autofocusing in the rear camera, and it's an OK camera. Everything about this tablet, I think this is a really interesting tablet. And the reason is that whenever you get into these super low-cost tablets, there's almost always something that really bugs you. Like it's a deal killer. This doesn't have one. A deal killer. It looks nice. It performs well. It's got a really nice screen, but not spectacular. And again, that price is absolutely killer. It comes with a full version of Windows 8.1, as I said.
Not Office, though, for that price.
It comes with a free subscription to Office 365 Personal, which is a $70 value for 1 year.
For a year.
And then you have to pay for it. It has a really interesting set of utilities. It has this Toshiba product called True Capture. And this is designed for capturing pictures of books and whiteboards and things like that. It's for capturing content, not, art photography.
That makes sense, though. That's kind of one of the use cases for something like this. You take it to a meeting, take a picture of the whiteboard at the end.
Exactly.
Take some notes. No stylus, though.
Yeah. It does not have a stylus, which is different from the Asus Vivo Tab Note 8, which is a very similar and comparable device to this. And of course, it's got little bits and pieces of Toshiba help support software, that kind of thing, which you always get with these devices.
Does it have a desktop? It's Windows 8, so it must have a desktop mode.
I don't think it does because it's a tablet, right? If you go into the
Surface has a desktop.
If you go into the settings, you immediately get into the hardcore Windows type stuff. But this is a really, really nice tablet. I like this a lot. And it also has a lot more sensors than some of the other tablets in this category. For example, it has, an ambient light sensor, gyroscope, an accelerometer, GPS, digital compass, and vibration for haptic feedback. So they're really not cutting corners on sensors. and I really liked it. I'm actually
$200. That
yeah.
just blows me away.
The main competitors, if you compare this with the iPad Mini with Retina, okay, the iPad Mini with Retina is a better tablet. It's significantly better. The App Store is much better. The screen is much better, and if you need the App Store stuff, but if you just want a tablet that's running Windows, that runs your Windows applications, this is really a great one. It's, like I said, it's comparable to the Vivo Tab Note 8, and that costs about $50 more. Now, $50 more doesn't sound like a lot more, but at these prices, that's 25% more. That's a lot more. And so I'm going to give this a buy.
This is the desktop, by the way.
There's the, well, that's the...
It's just when you get to the desktop,
Yeah,
it's
there you
so
go.
small.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd use it.
Right.
You can press
exactly.
the Windows key also. There's a Windows key. Normally there's a physical Windows key on these things. It's up at the top.
Yeah,
Look at that.
And
Wow.
you don't want. I don't even want to use this on a laptop. I mean, it's I like the so-called Metro UI.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
you'd probably want to stick with that just because these touch targets you can see. I mean,
Yeah.
you can barely. I mean, my fingers is awfully big compared to that.
Personally, I wouldn't choose a Windows tablet over an Android tablet or an iOS tablet. However, if you need one, you know who you are, right?
Well,
And
I
so-
could see if you were using, for instance, if there were a Windows app you had to use day in, day out, and it happened to work on an
Yeah.
8-inch screen like this, this
Yeah.
might be a really good choice
Right.
for you.
There are lots of people who need Windows applications, and there are some people who just like this. I mean, let's face it, we've talked about this a lot. This is a great user interface. They were a little late with it, but this is a really compelling user interface. So for a novice or somebody who's used to Windows or whatever, $200 is really, really cheap for what you get in this tablet.
Pros and cons.
Well, the pros include that
I'll play with this while you talk.
it's cheap, it looks good,
believe
it's responsive, and the sound is actually good. Now, the sound is interesting. The sound is not good for music per se. It's
No,
okay for music, and
it's
it's
got
not
little
loud enough.
speakers, right?
But it's really good for spoken words, for TV and movies and so on. I was watching you earlier live through the live.twit.tv stream, and it sounded fantastic. It's got stereo speakers and Dolby sound. And for something like watching Twitch shows, it's really, really great. The sound is really, really good in that regard. So those are the pros. The cons are there's some minor graphics hiccups. Every once in a while, you get a little glitchiness, which is the kind of thing you'd expect. You'd expect actually a lot more of that from a Windows machine running at this price. It doesn't have a docking station. It doesn't have a stylus. I personally don't like those kinds of things. I'd much rather go with a Bluetooth keyboard, and who needs a mouse? And of course, it's not high res. But
That's pretty good. I'm watching us on
Yeah.
TV, see there. Very
you
interesting.
turn that up, so you won't be able to tell really. But listen to that.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Look at that. Listen to that velvety voice.
That's whoever that is.
It's incredible.
He knows what he's doing. Now we're going to get a very weird Inception moment here. But you know what? That just proves it's running Flash. That's a real Windows. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So a buy.
A buy. This is a buy. I definitely give this a buy. At these prices, why not? $200. I mean, this is a really good tablet running
I can't
full
believe
Windows.
we can do that in 1 gig of RAM.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's really my.
It is. I don't know how they do it.
No. And of course, there's competitors. You mentioned there's a Dell Venue Pro 8.
Yep.
There's quite a few in this category because Microsoft's giving away Windows to anybody with less than a 9-inch
That's
screen.
right.
So
That,
might as
that
well.
helps the price a lot. But
Yeah.
the bottom line is that they of course they cluster on the higher end and the lower end for the 8-inch tablets. This is similar to the higher end ones, and it's got a lower end price.
Great price.
And that's really the killer feature.
Ladies and gentlemen, a buy on the Toshiba
right.
Encore Tour. They do, for a little bit more, have a 10-inch version of this.
Yes,
as
they
well.
do, and
Not as pocketable, though.
that's right. This is same screen resolution, same low memory. That one has the 1 gigabyte as well. So I really prefer this one over the 10-inch, I don't see any reason to have a 10-inch. If they had a higher resolution screen or something, yes, but no, they don't have that.
This is what Steven Sinofsky was thinking when he came up with Windows 8. Very interesting.